here we are. This is the front side of our house. It's actually the north side of our house, and we are adding on a roof to this deck area. And yeah, it's pretty sturdy. We've got some are these 5x5, Warren?
Posts and beams are, yep.
5x5 inch post and beam, white pine. Yeah, Warren's doing a good job of it. Let's go check him out, see what he's about.
Hello, YouTube. So what we're doing here is a little bit of timber framing. These are white pine 5x5, as Simon said. And I laid out the diagonals. I'm doing the diagonals that brace the post and beam. I made these patterns so that I could lay out on here the fancy cuts that I'm now doing with draw knife, chisel, and whatever else I got to use.
That looks like an interesting tool you've got here.
That's the draw knife.
The draw knife.
And I'm about to show you how you draw the knife through the wood.
Hey, let's do it.
There's a couple different ways of doing it. This way and this way. But I tend to go this way because I can get a deep cut or I can control my cut better. This one wants to dig in more and it's a little less control.
Okay.
Now before I start this, I look at the piece I have to do and I see a big bad knot come around this side. Big bad knot in this side. That's going to be really hard. And it makes the grain go up like this and it makes it go up like this.
Oh, I see.
So I can pull to the knot from here, and I can pull to the knot from here. But when I get to the knot, I'm gonna have to do a bunch of chisel work. I drew the lines, you can see them, and I begin by getting the end done the way it's supposed to be. Because you have to be a little bit careful up here. And you just cut in right to the lines. You can keep your blade flat like this if the grain allows it, because all the carving, the wood, is following the grain. You have to make your blade do the right thing relative to the direction of the grain.
Oh, I see.
And the different types of wood are harder, more fragile, more giving. There's all kinds of wood. Pine like this, white pine, eastern white pine, it's pretty easy to work. Now the other thing is I want to come right to this line, so I might take the edge down to the line.
Oh, I see, and leave it a bit high in the middle.
You have to be careful
Oh, I
because now
see.
it's starting to...
Yeah.
You have to feel out the wood. Once you start getting closer to the line, you take thinner shavings. These are called shavings or schnitzels.
Schnitzels?
Schnitzels. That's
Okay.
a German word. Now I'm going to get the top line. So you got to bring the camera up. There you go.
Yeah.
Get to the top line, and then I can flatten it out in between at any point. But that's close enough. Well, maybe a little more yet.
So tell me about the origin of this technique, Warren.
So timber framing, I am not a historian, but timber framing was what they did back in the old country in like Bavaria, Germany, places where they had lots of forest trees, pretty good sized trees. Now I gotta flip around, so come around this way. And they mortise and tenon and pegged because this type of building became popular way before there were nails.
Mm-hmm.
So they could make the whole house without any nails at one point in history. Then they started making nails in the blacksmith shop pretty early on. So now I have to come back the other direction. And I make this end nice because I don't want to touch it again once I get it. You're feeling out how much it wants to rip and how much it'll stay solid as you carve. That lets you know how much to change the angle.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Now this knot is going to be a good example of why this can get difficult. Time consuming anyway. just right, just take that line and just barely away. I like the sound of that blade going through the wood.
Yeah.
Same with a plane, block plane or any kind of plane on wood.
Yeah, the blade.
Sharp blade goes through the wood. So I'm exposing the knot so I can figure out how to attack it.
It's kind of inconvenient having a knot right there, isn't it? Right in the middle.
Yep, well, they're everywhere. Look at this one. That one's gonna
that one's gonna be fun and games, isn't it? That one.
So, here's how we deal with this. I am gonna start taking away. I can chisel straight down as long as I don't go quite to the line or the plane, the finished plane. I can just keep doing that. Hard as a knot. There's probably a saying about that. I'm trying to go straight kind of toward the grain in a way so it doesn't tear out.
Do you think a lot of these traditional ways of building that were brought across, when you say the old country, across from Europe over here to the States, I suppose they brought all their traditions and their skills with them, didn't they, and just applied them over here?
And their tools.
And their tools, yeah.
And their types of wood are similar enough here. Like I've heard you say, Simon, that there are ash trees used over there. Well, we have ash here too.
Yeah.
Well, we did.
Yeah.
Until the emerald ash tree borer came along and decided to kill them all. But besides that, ash is good for certain things. Around here, timber framing of barns, like this structure behind us used to be a barn. They were timber framed in something pretty tough. They had a lot of hemlock, they used that. And if it really had to be strong, they used oak.
Okay.
Because that is not going anywhere strong. But this white pine, we're using this because it's easier to work with, cheaper, and it's not that heavy duty of a project. It just doesn't have to be that terribly strong.
Do you think you could, we could just pick up one of these other pieces that you've already done and put it into position up there, so that we could see one of these guys, perhaps?
Right here.
Oh, you've got one there, yeah. Okay.
Now, in traditional timber framing, this would have a tenon coming out and a mortise hole that it would slip into, kind of a little cutout for it at both places. And you kind of have to put everything together from all different directions on the floor at once and stand it up. This is a modified timber frame structure. We are not doing everything as difficult as we could have. There are mortise and tenons and a number of these things, but this will end up going, it's hard to hold.
It's a chunk of wood, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's heavy. Oh, somewhere like that.
I see. Yeah. It's going to look great. Yeah, very nice.
And then we'll do some false pegs.
Some false pegs, yeah.
Look like it was done the real way.
Good. Okay, Warren. Well, look, thanks for showing us your skill here and talking to us a little bit about the timber framing and how people used to do it.
Lots of different chisels, planes, and draw knives is mostly what they use, and then of course saws.
Yeah, right.
And a saw that 45's off.
Yeah, yeah.
They used hand saws like this,
Yeah,
or bigger, sometimes bigger saws for some of these bigger timbers.
yeah, yeah.
They also, for drilling the holes for the pegs, you sit on the beam and there's a machine that sits down over the edge, comes up, and it has two handles. And as you go like this, it spins and goes down. Puts a bit straight down into your, and you can do those at angles too.
Okay.
You can set it at angles.
Yeah.
You're doing diagonals.
Yeah. Hey, great, Warren. Thanks very much.
Alrighty.
Hey, I'll let you continue.
Okay, I will do that.